Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me for another Batman 1966 review. Today it is Season 1, Episode 5, The Joker is Wild. And today we get the debut of another villain, a very famous one, as we get Cesar Romero as the Joker. And I have to say, I was pretty impressed with his performance. I thought it held up pretty well. Of course, this Joker is not as dark as the Jokers we're used to now, as things have changed as far as how all the Batman characters are portrayed in present times. But I have to say that there is a little bit of darkness to his performance. It's a little bit darker than some of the other villains we've seen on the show so far. And he has a great laugh as well, although I will say it might be just slightly overused. But all in all, a solid effort on the portrayal of the Joker by Cesar Romero. So this episode starts. We actually get to see the villain right off the bat, which I wish they would do more in this show. I think it's great to start with the villain instead of waiting like 6 or 7 minutes to see him. So we start with the Joker in prison, and he's playing baseball. He's a pitcher. Who knew the Joker had this kind of talent? And he's laughing. He seems to think this is great and fun. And he actually escapes based on this giant spring that just kind of appears out of nowhere, out of the ground. This is a pretty awful looking special effect, honestly. I usually think the effects look pretty great, but this really wasn't that convincing even for the 60s. But it's so corny that it's kind of great and it kind of works. What else can I say? So I'm not going to go through every plot point in this episode because there's a lot of them, and this episode's kind of all over the place, although it is very memorable. Some of the things that happen in this episode: the Joker has a statue in the Comedy Hall of Fame where we're introduced to all of his henchmen who have the names of some famous comedians, which was funny. The Joker attempts to steal some jewels. The Joker makes his own utility belt to try and counter Batman's. We're introduced to another henchwoman named Queenie, who's great, but unfortunately, like all the female characters on the show so far, is very underused. But the scenes she has are really great. And last but not least, the Joker performs opera. I don't know if I'll ever get over that one. So, of course, Batman and Robin are on his trail this whole time. And basically, we get a cliffhanger where, after a slight little skirmish fight, whatever you want to call it, Batman and Robin know it's the Joker performing the opera. But eventually the Joker gets the better of it, and the cliffhanger is he actually threatens to unmask Batman and Robin and tell us who they really are. So the first cliffhanger, we basically had Robin in trouble, and the second one we had Bruce Wayne, and now we have both Batman and Robin. So they're really upping the stakes by episode 5 in the cliffhanger department. Overall, this is a solid, fun episode, but it's kind of all over the place. There's too many plots again, but at least they're all interesting and fun. And this episode does its job. It sets up a superior part 2, in my opinion. So I'm going to give The Joker is Wild a 3.5 out of 5. Definitely a worthy episode and a necessary episode to set up part 2. So 3.5 out of 5 for The Joker is Wild. And as always, thank you very much for watching.